Good night, Walter Romero. Hope you guys enjoyed my show I made earlier today. My ears are sick right now. It's my final video, guys. Yeah, I still have like one beer left. So after this video, I'm gonna enjoy the show with you guys. Take a shower. I'll enjoy you that. And after that, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm fucking tired. I watched like a good hour of Rad Brad and yeah. You know your shit, man. Yeah, I do. I'm self-taught, guys. Yeah. I have the wisdom of God. That's why I know how to blow your mind away with videos, right? When I talk about the CFL, the SHL, sport leagues, Hollywood, apologetics, I know how to blow your mind away because I have the wisdom of God. I have the street smarts. You're right, like you're not that smart of a guy. I'm not that intelligent of a guy, but I have the natural gifts, obviously. I have the wisdom of God. That's why I know how to blow your mind away with the CFL. I guarantee you, even the board of governors, if you were a CFL commissioner, they'll tell me, you're the smartest guy we ever interviewed, man. You know how to really blow our mind away, and that's. I guarantee you the CFL board of governors are embarrassed, obviously. You're a fucking dick, man. You're embarrassing us in front of the world, man. You're exposing us like that, and you're making us look like fools. Well, I didn't agree with CFL. You deserve to be exposed, man. You've been doing this for decades, man. Alright, man, this has been really going on for decades. Yes, guys, this has been going on for decades since Warren Moon played. Warren Moon played in the 70s, man, in the CFL. Even in the 70s, the CFL has been doing this, man. This has been going on for 50, 60, 70 years. Even when Russ Jackson played, the bias was going on in the CFL. That's why Russ Jackson's so respected, because he was such rare talent in the 50s and the 60s. Russ Jackson as a Canadian quarterback, that he was a starting quarterback in the CFL, and he won, I think, 1 or 2 Grey Cups, and he put up 25 to 3,000 yards. He only played for 10 to 12 seasons around there. He's a legend in the CFL. That's why but one Canadian legendary quarterback, the fans love him more than all these American guys, CFL. They have a trophy named after him at the awards. All the American guys guys, Russ Jackson has a trophy named after him, man, at the awards, man. Yeah, man, a fucking trophy named after him. The awards for the best university players competing for the award, right? The best university football players competing for the award. You know how in the NCAA you have the Heisman Awards, the Heisman Trophy? You have the Heisman Trophy. You know how you have the Heisman Trophy in the NCAA? Yeah, you have something like that for Russ Jackson. For the University Awards in Canada, you have the Russ Jackson Award. It's one of the awards, man. For the university players, they have an award named after him, man. Russ Jackson. Obviously. Yeah. And Russ Jackson's not the greatest quarterback in CFL history. The greatest quarterback in CFL history is Anthony Calvillo. Anthony Calvillo is the greatest CFL quarterback in history. He put up 79,000 yards. 79,000 yards in passing in his career in the CFL. He played for 20 years in the CFL. Anthony Calvillo was the greatest CFL quarterback in history, and he's American. Matt Dunnigan's one of the greatest. Ricky Ray's one of the greatest. These guys all put up more numbers than Russ Jackson in the CFL. But to be fair, Russ Jackson only played for 12 years. Those guys played for 20 years, right? And yet, no one really cares about those legendary quarterbacks, and they care way more about Russ Jackson. They have a trophy in that. They don't have an Anthony Calvillo award. He's the greatest CFL quarterback in history, man. That's how you know CFL. The fans love the Canadian football players a lot more than the American guys doing up here. Yeah, we know that, Ivan, but they're very talented. Yeah, they're blind by the American talents. Even they're crazy people. That's funny, I know. All American players, holy shit, man. The Canadians really do love Russ Jackson. Oh yeah, they do. You know how you have the Heisman Trophy in the NCAA? For the awards for the best players playing in the league, right? You have something like that for Russ Jackson. For the awards for the university players, they have a Russ Jackson award. as one of the major awards. Award named after man for some of the best players, in the playing in university, who players playing university. They don't have an award for Anthony Alvaro or Matt Dunnigan or Ricky Reed, like, you know what I'm saying? And yet those are the greatest like quarterbacks in the league. Ricky Ray and Anthony Alvaro are like one of the greatest quarterbacks in CFL history. Yeah, obviously, right? They're like the greatest quarterbacks in CFL history. In the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and yet the Canadian fans love Russ Jackson even more than those guys. They love Russ Jackson even more than Warren Moon, man. Yeah, man. Even more than Warren Moon. Why? He's Canadian, man. Canadian football legend, right? Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. I don't mean to be disrespectful, even though I respect Warren Moon. I really do. I respect Warren Moon a lot because he's a legend in both leagues. Very tough to be a legend in both leagues. They're two different games. Obviously. But like Warren Moon, he used the CFL as a what? As a farming to get an NFL shot, Warren Moon. Yeah, he may be legend CFL, but even though he's legend CFL, he used your CFL to get an NFL shot. Obviously. Because you would think after winning 5 Grey Cups, obviously, he would stay in the CFL. The CFL offered Warren Moon a lot of money for him to stay. They offer him a boatload of money, but they can't compete with the NFL, obviously. And when Warren Moon got his NFL opportunity, he left. Man, yeah, sorry guys, I love playing up here, but like this is not my dream. The dream's not playing for CFL. These American guys. Yeah, he's legend in your league CFL, but he used your CFL to get an NFL shot. Legend in both leagues, I respect that obviously, but like he fucking used like my fucking pro league to get an NFL shot, man. These American guys, and that really pisses me off when they do that. Obviously, they're stars up here, and I'm saying, and they just leave. Ivan, the reason why we leave, because this is, yes, guys, I'm talking about American football players, this is not, yeah, it's not a dream. Our dream's not playing here. Our dream's playing in the NFL, because we're American, they're American. The NFL's for the Americans, the CFL's for the Canadians, but the Canadian players barely get to be stars there, because the CFL just brings up all these American guys. And they get to be the stars up here. When they never want to be here, they're only here by default. Yes, some of them stay, but quite a bit of them leave CFL. The CFL GMs don't really care. They don't really care when they lose their star players to the NFL. Because the American players are expendable. They can just grab more talented players from the States, right? Yeah, we don't really care that. We're pissed off, but like we can just grab, they can just grab players from the States. CFL GMs, that's why they don't care. And you wonder why CFL league's not growing. Those are the people you want to market to the Canadian people, obviously. And you wonder why your league's not growing. You want to market players who never want to be here, and who some of them who are using your CFLs as a farm to get an NFL shot. The Canadian people. So you want the people to invest in those kind of players who are not really committed to being here. Some of them are using your CFL as a farm to get an NFL shot. And you see the players, the CFL markets on television. After 3 years, some of those guys, you don't see them again because they went to the NFL. So it's like, and they're unfamiliar product. Talented product, but unfamiliar to the Canadian people, and you wonder why the league's not growing CFL. The CFL doesn't care. We don't care if they're unfamiliar product to the Canadian people. Even though they're unfamiliar product, they're amazing product on the field that we're selling to the people. Yes, they're amazing product on the field, CFL, you're selling to the Canadian people, but they're unfamiliar product, and your league is having minimal growth for decades. So obviously people in Canada don't really care about these guys, right? Yeah. Canadian people don't really care about these guys. Yeah, man. Yeah. Ivan, do all the students at the 27 CIS football universities that compete for the championship in the CIS or U Sports, right? Do they all know the players got drafted? Yes. Every student at the university knows all the players who get drafted in the CFL. Especially the football fans, they know. And football is the most popular sport in university in Canada. For university, football is number one. More popular than all the others, way more popular than other sports. Like you got sold out crowds, man, of thousands of fans, man. 7,000, 10,000, 15,000 fans go to the games in Canada. It's not like NCAA where they have like 50, 60,000 fans, whatever it is. But like it's sold out crowds, and all those football fans know these players got drafted. Obviously, what's the average attendance of each university football game? It's about like 8,000 fans per game in Canada, right? And some even 15,000. So let's say on average you have 7,000 fans who attend each of the university football games, sold out to watch the players play, the football players play. 7,000 times 27. Let's see. Yeah, that's 189,000 students. It's actually more. It's more like probably like 250,000 students every year attend the each game. So for every game, you're looking at 250,000 around there students in Canada attending for every game, right, of the season, attending all the games. But don't forget, each school averages about what, like 40,000 kids? Let's say 40,000. About 40,000 average there's about 40,000 students in each university around there. Let's say it's average that, right? So 40,000. Let's say it's 40,000 students times 27. There's 27 schools that compete for the championship in university football, right? Yeah, that's like 1 million. Yeah, 1 million students. So yeah, you're looking at about 1 million, 1.2 million students in Canada who know all these Canadian kids got drafted. And yet the CFL is only peaking at 500,000 viewers. So obviously a lot of these students don't really care, especially the football fans, right? Yeah. So this is a huge market to tap into, and the CFL is not peaking any higher than 500,000 views. I know why. It's because of the American talent problem, man. Yeah. Guaranteed a lot of these students and universities will be tuning into your games, CFL. If they knew these guys were star players and you market them well, they'd be tuning into the game, CFL. And they'd be going to the home games too to promote their homegrown talent. But they don't really care because these guys are not stars. And it's all these American guys that they don't think about who are the stars. Yeah. That's it, Sarah. Yeah. But the CFL doesn't care. We don't care if they don't know about these American players, Ivan. They're talented. They put on a show on television. That's how we go to the league, Ivan. Yeah, I get that, CFL, but you've been doing this for decades, and you're only peaking at $300 million, obviously. So for 50, 60 years of CFL history, whatever it is, you've been bringing up all these American guys. They've been putting on a show on television for decades. Even Warren Moon was putting on a show in the 70s when he played in the CFL before he went to the NFL. And yet, you're only peaking at $300 million a year in revenue after like 50, 60 years. That's not good. That's not growth, man. That's, we're struggling, man. Like, we're struggling with growth. Yeah, CFL's struggling with growth. I know football's not popular in Canada compared to hockey, but I mean, the CFL should be making at least 500, even 600 million in revenue, man. By now, they should have been making. They should be making. You guys should be making your $500 million to $600 million a year in revenue, CFL. Like $300 million is not good. That's not growth, man. That's, we're struggling, man. Yeah, I have two answers, man. There's two reasons why you're struggling. Either the fact that Canada just don't care about Canadian football, or they don't care about these American guys you bring up here who are the stars of your league. They don't really care about these guys. No one really cares, man, about these guys, right? Yeah. Ivan, is it about the quality of the game in the CFL? No, it's not about the quality of the game. I've seen what? Many CFL games in my life, and the CFL games is high quality football. And all you CFL players know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've seen CFL games. It's high quality football, almost as good as even the NFL. Not the NFL, but it's almost as good as the NFL. And yet, no one in Canada cares about the games, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. CFL should be getting at least 1.5 million to 2 million viewers watching a game. At least 1.5 to 2 million people watching a game, but they only peak at like 500,000 viewers. CFL averages like 300,000 to 500,000 Canadian people watching their television games. So no one in Canada really cares about the games, man. Small percentage who watch it who are fans, but CFL should be doing at least 1.5 million, 2 million people watching a game in Canada, right? Obviously, NFL has millions of viewers watching in Canada, but the CFL they peak at like 500,000 viewers watching. NHL they get to millions of views, millions of people watching in Canada, and CFL's peaking at 500,000 people in Canada watching, and it's been staying at that rate for years. They're not having any growth, so people in Canada obviously don't care that much about your league CFL. Regardless of your quality, the quality of your games. That's how you know it's not about the quality of your game. Because you've been putting on quality football for decades, CFL. Bringing up all these amazing American talent. They put on a show on television. You keep marketing them to Canadian people and no one really cares in Canada. So it's like, yeah. Or they just don't care about Canadian football. People in Canada just don't care. Yeah, I don't care about Canadian football. I'm not going to watch the game. That's the other answer. Either people in Canada just don't care about Canadian football, which could be true. There's not that big of a market for it in Canada. Or they just don't care about your star players who you're marketing them. They don't really care about these guys, right? Well, hey, guys, I'm saying, yeah, they don't really care about these guys. That's what their answer. I was just fucking dick, but well, guys, I don't mean to be an asshole. That could be. I'm talking to all you American players in CFL. I know you think I'm an asshole. That could be a possible answer. Or they just don't care about Canadian football. That's my other answer. Yeah. Let me ask all you American guys in the States. If the NFL drafted the best players in America in the NFL draft, and they brought up all these Canadian football players and had them be the stars up here over the American draft picks, God forbid, right? Because the Americans in the NFL are quite a bit more talented than our best Canadian players, I'm saying. Speaking hypothetically, if the NFL drafted the NFL drafts the best American football players in the States, right? If the NFL did this, would you guys care that much about the NFL? We wouldn't tune in on it. We wouldn't really care about it. Because we wouldn't really care because the Canadians are unknown talent. We don't know anything about them. They're Canadian. We don't resonate with them. They're not from here, and we want to see those draft picks play. Yes, and that's exactly what the CFL's doing, man. In our fucking country, man, for decades, man. They draft the best Canadian players, but they just choose to bring up all these American level for guys who are not the best players in America and have them be the stars up here. And they market them to Canadian people, and they hope that the league somehow grows. because they're crazy people. Obviously, yeah, Ivan, like that's our plan, man. We gotta just bring up these guys up here in Canada and American guys up here in Canada, have them put on a show on television, market them to Canadian people, and hopefully our league grows because they're putting on a show on television. Yeah, CFL, they're putting on a show on television, but the product you're selling to the Canadian people, CFL, is unfamiliar product. The people are not familiar with the product you're trying to sell. But the CFL doesn't care. We don't care if they're unfamiliar with the product. The product that we're selling is what? Is what? Is what? Is talented. It's talented product that we're selling. It's a talented brand that we're selling to Canadian people. Yes, it's a talented brand that we're selling to Canadian people, CFL. They're putting on a show on television. But if it really is about the quality and the talented brand trying to sell to the Canadian people, your league should be doing 500, 600 million revenue by now. And yet you're not seeing any growth. So obviously it's not about the quality of the brand that you're selling. It's probably something else. And my answer is probably it's unfamiliar products, CFL, that you're selling to the Canadian people. The Canadian people are not familiar with the brand you're trying to sell to them. They don't know anything about these guys, man. They're not from here. We know it, we don't care, man. They're talented, we put on a show. When we become CFL stars, some of the fans, the football fans in Canada are familiar with them, but like, what? They're unknowns and they're from a different country. And your league's not growing. So it's like, so either fans in Canada just don't care about Canadian football, or they don't really care about the American product that you're selling to them, obviously. They don't really care about those guys, right? The American athletes that you bring up here. That's my answer. Because Ivan, you're a genius, I know. Ivan, that's cold, man, I know. That's cold, man, I know, that's cold. I'm saying, yeah, that's cold, man, I know. That's cold, man, I know, that's cold. I'm saying, yeah, it's cold. Going on for decades, man. Does everyone in the league know about the bias? Of course they do. They're not stupid. Everyone knows about the bias. It's not stupid, but they have to keep your lips sealed, man. It's part of the rule. Yeah, if you want to keep your job, you got to keep your mouth shut, man. The sport anchors, you know what I'm saying, the TSM panel, they all know about the bias. It's not stupid. Obviously, the players, the Canadian players, Canadian drivers, they know about the bias, but they have to keep their lips sealed if they want to keep their job, right? Yeah, speak up about it, you can lose your job, man. That's how serious it is. You can lose your job. They don't want to lose their job, obviously. Yeah. Does the CFL commissioner have to abide by the rules? Of course he does. CFL commissioner doesn't abide by the rules, they're not going to hire the CFL commissioner. The board of governors obviously lets the CFL commissioner know about the rules. Yeah, we draft the best players in Canada. 7 Canadians start per team, and then we bring up these American guys, having the stars up here. They're the reason why the league hasn't grown, because they put on a show on television. The Canadian players are not good enough to put on good enough quality for football for the people from Canada. We gotta have the American guys start. The CFL knows about the rules. The CFL commissioner knows about the rules. They have to listen, obviously. Yeah, that's how it works, right? They know about the rules. Everyone has to abide by the rules. That's how it works, right? Yeah. Because the bias has been passed on to the league for decades. It's passed down to the league, obviously, for over the decades. It's passed down to the league, obviously. That's why they're never going to get rid of the American talent, because it's a bias that's been passed down for decades, man, like 60, 70 years, something crazy. For decades, it's just been the American guys being the stars up here. That's how it works. Let's see, it's serious shit. Yeah. It's like a betrayal to your country, right? It's very serious shit going up here in Canada. It's the only pro league in the entire world that has this bias. The CFL is the only league in the world that has this issue, obviously. No other league has that issue, obviously. Yeah. All the pro leagues in the world, the best players they draft are the best players in that country, and most of those players who are playing in the league are players from that country. Yeah, NFL Europe, they draft the best European players. The best players playing in that in that league are the best European players. There's a pro league in Japan. Yes, some of the leagues have they'll bring up some players from other countries, but like each league has maybe 6, 7 players from a different country playing in the league, and the majority of the players are all the players from that nationality, from that country. That's what I'm saying, huh? Yeah. But the CFL is the only league that's not. It's not like that. Like because they're envious of the NFL. The only league that's envious of another country's talent pool. That's why they just choose to bring the level for guys and having the stars up here, and they draft the best Canadian players, but they close the doors on them and they have the American guys shine up here. That's how it works. They don't believe that the Canadian players are good enough for people of Canada because they're blinded by another country's talent. Envious of another country's talent. That's how it works. I mean, that's a cold thing. Yeah. All right, there's a pro league in Japan. Yes, there is. Japan has a professional football league there too. Yeah, man. There's a pro football league in Japan. There's NFL Europe. There was the NFL, and there was the CFL. There's like 4, I think, or 5 pro leagues in the world, football pro leagues in the world. Obviously. And all the pro leagues in the world, the best players, in most cases, the majority of the best players playing in that league are the best players in that country. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah, but even though the Canadian players are not stars, they're still playing pro football. Yes, they're playing pro football, but the majority of them are not stars. Most of your star players are the American guys. That's how it works. CFL is the only league that's weird like that. They're just envious of another league's talent. They just choose to bring up all these guys up here and have them be the stars instead of their own Canadian draft picks. Obviously, because they're blinded by another league's talent, obviously. Yeah. Alright, I'm sorry, man. The NFL talent's so good. We gotta get those other guys how these stars are, man. They're so talented, the American players. Yeah, they're so talented. We gotta have these stars for iron. Yeah. That's how it works with. Alright, that's funny, I know. Take a shower after this. And after I watch show with you guys, I'm going to bed. Fucking tired. Fucking tired, yeah, man. Yeah. I have 1 beer left. Yeah. I have a little bit left here, right? No, I have a seriously, man. Are the best Canadian players talented? Yes, they're very talented players. But like when you compare it to the best American players that the NFL has, it's a little bit of a significant drop in quality, like a 13% drop in quality. You look at but yeah, even like the Canadian players are such amazing players because the talent in America is so amazing. Like when we compare it to the best Canadian players, it's a bit of a letdown to us, Ivan, us guys in the CFL. It's a bit of a letdown. That's why they bring the leftover guys. Because they're blinded by the talent, obviously. That's why because they're blinded because like the Canadian talent's amazing, obviously the best Canadian players in Canada, but because they're blinded by the American talent, when they compare it to the best Canadian players in Canada, the CFL is not satisfied with that. It's not good enough. Because it's not, when you compare it to the NFL, it's like it's a little bit of a dip in quality. That's why they do that. That's why they bring all the American guys, because they're blinded by the American talent. It's a blindness that they have, obviously. Yeah, man. Obviously. Alright, how do you know they're blinded by it? Because they've been doing this for like 50, 60 plus years, guys. They're blinded by the talent, man. They salivate over the American talent. The CFL. They're just envious of the NFL's talent. They're weird. They're crazy people, man. They're just blinded by it. Yeah, crazy fucking people. Yeah, man. Doing this for decades, right? That's how you know they're blinded by the American talent CFL. They've been doing this for decades, man. Like they don't care like if they close the doors on the American players. Yeah, we don't care either. We close on American player on the Canadian players. We don't really care about the Canadian guys. We want the American guys to shine up here, Ivan. Yeah, so the American guys deserve to shine in Canada when they're not even from here and never want to be here, and this is not their league, over your own Canadian draft picks. They believe the American guys deserve to shine. Ivan, the American guys deserve to shine up here in Canada because they're the best talent in the world. That's all we got to bring is our guys are going to have the stars up here. Yeah, you get that CFL, they're the best talent in the world. But they're unfamiliar product that you're selling to the Canadian people. No one really cares about these guys, man. The American guys are bring up here. Yeah, all the guys said, yeah. 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 The CFL miss out on a lot of great Canadian quarterback talent. Oh yeah. Brad Sinopoli, Brandon Bridge, Trey Ford, Kyle Quinlan. That's already 4 quarterbacks. And I believe Jeremy Darren Roach would have been an amazing franchise quarterback too if he got drafted in the CFL. But I told you, the CFL scouts don't care about Canadian quarterbacks. They just brush them off. They don't think they're good enough, obviously. That's funny, I know. Until Brandon Bridge paved the way. Now, because of Brandon Bridge is the one that paved the way for the Canadian quarterbacks. Once, like, he got his start, he started for 6 games. He was putting on a show on television, but he wasn't able to win games. He won, like, 1 game. That's what paved the way for guys like Trey Ford and Nathan Rook. But Nathan Rook and Trey Ford are rare Canadian quarterback talent. That's why the scouts salivated over them. That's why they drafted them in the first and second round. And both of them got to be starting quarterbacks. Especially Nathan Rook. Nathan Rook is such rare quarterback talent. He actually won the MVP of the league last year. MVP of the league. As the best player in the league, man. That's how good he is, Nathan Rook. He's so good, the NFL was even interested in him. Nathan Rook. He went to the NFL, man, and he scored on a drive. He broke a tackle and scored on a drive. He did good in the preseason game. He did better than the other American guy, and they put him on the practice roster. Nathan Rook, when he did it really good in the preseason game in the NFL, and they put him on the practice roster because I told you the NFL, they don't like the Canadian players. Obviously, yeah, we don't like the Canadian guys. Yeah, they also limit opportunity for Canadians in the NFL. They don't like us Canadian guys. Yeah, we don't like you guys. Yeah, so if the NFL doesn't like us Canadian players, then why the fuck's are you giving all these American guys who are trying to shine here in our country? When this is not even their league, don't hate him, yeah. Yeah. Do you think the league will grow with the Canadian talent? Oh, yeah. I believe if you market the Canadian talent, and especially the homegrown at the universities, a lot of the kids know these players, obviously. They saw them at university. In like 15 years, the league can grow to like 500 million at least. Because CFL's peak is probably 500 to 600 million around their peak. Perhaps 700 million is its peak. 500 to maybe 700 million is CFL's peak. Probably 550 million is CFL's peak around there. 600 million around there. And with a 500 million salary cap, you can raise the cap to $9 million CFL and you can pay these guys a lot more money. And the CFL's trying to get to that level. That way they can pay these players more money. And the GMs don't have to worry about losing a lot of their star American talent to the NFL. But because the CFL's peaking at $300 million, they can't afford to pay the players more money. As the CFL cap is like $6-something million per team. So they're more limited in how much they can pay the star players in CFL, right? Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice for the league to get to $500. That way we can raise the cap to like $9 million and pay the players more. Yeah, because the CFL players do deserve a raise, quite a bit of a raise. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, right, that kind of money that I mentioned earlier, the CFL players deserve to make, the quarterbacks deserve to make that kind of money in the CFL because they're pro athletes. But the CFL can't afford to pay them that because the league is not generating enough money, obviously. Well, you guys listen, yeah. Yeah. Will the CFL ever compete with the NHL? No. It's not even close, man. The NHL blows the CFL away. It's not even close, man. Obviously. Football's not popping in Canada, man. CFL's peak is probably 600 million around there. 550 to 600 million is CFL's peak. Perhaps 700 million is the CFL's peak, which is good enough. If the league can hit like $600, the league will be happy with that. They're now in the hell. They're now a very successful league, pro football league in Canada. They're not one of the big four, but they're a very successful league. But it will never be even close to the NHL. It's not even close, man. NHL blows the CFL out of the water because hockey is Canada's sport. Football is not Canada's sport. That's why the CFL players are underpaid, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. But for university, football is the most popular sport. It's not hockey. University, it's football. Football is by far number one in university. The whole, like, thousands of students go to the games. It's sold out, sold out. All the university games all the university football games in Canada sell out. They get like 7,000, 8,000, 15,000, 10,000, 11,000 of the students that go to the games. And they watch their players play. Now they have a thing in Ottawa called the Padma game, where you have Carleton University and the Ottawa Ravens. They compete for the Padma game. It's so popular they play at the CFL's Ottawa Red Black Stadium, which seats about 24,000 fans, right? One side is Ottawa U, the other side is Carleton Ravens. The whole thing is sold out, obviously. And a lot of those university fans know about these players who play at university, and then they know they got drafted. They have the CFL, and then I guarantee you barely any of them tune into the games, obviously. And I know why. It's probably because of the American talent problem, man. Like, these guys are drafted in the league CFL, but like, they're not stars. All these American guys who these fans know nothing about are the stars. Like, yeah, they're putting on a show, but like, obviously the people in Canada don't really care about these guys, right? Oh, they don't really care about Canadian football. That's the other answer. Obviously, like, guys say, yeah. Yeah. Does the CFL struggle with game attendance? No. Game attendance at CFL is pretty good. Most of their games pretty much sell out. Some of them don't fully sell out, but most of their games are packed with like 25, 30,000, 22, 30,000 fans in each game. So for the game attendance, the CFL's doing pretty good. They're doing good. It's the television ratings that they struggle with, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it's all about the television ratings. Television ratings is how you make your money, man. That's how you make your money, obviously. Because if CFL can hit 1 million on average, 1 million, 1.5, 2 million people tuning in, TSN will pay the CFL more money because the TSN's not giving the CFL a raise for how much they pay them every season, because they're not making the TSN that much money. Obviously, TSN is only paying the CFL about $50 million a season. The league $50 million a season, and they haven't given them a raise because they're not producing for the television ratings. Obviously, that's why they're not getting bigger deals. But if they can average 1.5, 2 million viewers, 2 million people watching, TSN will give them more money, like maybe 60, 65 million, 70 million a season now. They'll give the league more money, and then that's how they can pay the players more money. Obviously. Yeah. I'm sorry? Yeah. But for some games, the CFL does struggle with attendance. Obviously, sometimes they don't some games they don't fully sell out. It's not like the NFL whereby they sell out every game. No, the CFL, most of the stadiums sell in the CFL, but I've seen games. There's some games they don't fully sell out. They're like 3/4 sold out. So even for game attendance, sometimes they struggle a little bit with some of the games, a few of the games here and there. But most of the games are sold out. But the television ratings are struggling with, obviously. And sponsorships, too, they struggle with that, too. A lot of companies are not willing to sponsor CFL because the CFL is not producing, man. They're struggling with growth. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's funny, I know. I mean, the CFL only peaks at 500K. Holy shit, man. That's sad. I know, it's sad, man. That's sad for a pro league, right? Yeah. NFL averages like 16 million people watching each game. You compare that to like the 400,000, 500,000 viewers watching in Canada. Canada has about about almost 50 million people living here, right? Only 500,000 of those 50 million people are tuning into your game, CFL. So the people in Canada don't really care about your games. And there's two answers. Either there just isn't a big demand for football in Canada. People in Canada just don't care about Canadian football, or they just don't care about your product that you're selling to them. They don't really care about those guys, right? That's my other answer. I don't even ask, it's just the truth, right? And that's how you know it's not about the quality of your game, CFL. Because I think the CFL things it has something to do with the quality argument. It's probably the quality argument. Maybe we got to bring up more talented guys and put on better. No, CFL is not about the quality of your game, man. CFL football is high quality football. It's almost as good as the NFL, man. It's not the NFL. It's not NFL level, but it's almost as good as the NFL. They're very entertaining games, and yet no one really cares in Canada. So it's like either they just don't care about Canadian football, or they don't really care about the product that you're trying to sell to them. They don't care about your American star players. That especially your quarterbacks, right? That's the answer. Yeah. Yeah, right. You got Nathan Rook. Yeah, but Nathan Rook is one Canadian quarterback, guys. He's one Canadian quarterback, and the rest of the quarterbacks are what? American players. He's one Canadian quarterback, CFL. Obviously. Yeah. And don't forget, you have the American bias bullshit. If Nathan Rook's performance dips, he's done, and they're going to replace him with an American quarterback. So it's like, because Canadian players have shorter windows, and it's yeah. All right, you think Trey Ford is done? I think he is, or he might get another one, maybe one more shot as a starting quarterback. Because he's a young guy. He's only like 27 years old. Trey Ford, he might get another shot, but I think he's done, man. Because he didn't perform well with Edmonton. Even though I believe Edmonton should have given him at least 1 year to grow. I told you the coaches don't trust the Canadian players. Yeah, we don't trust the Canadian players either. They perform bad. We gotta replace it with an American guy. They're done. We gotta have the American guy jumping Ivan. We don't trust the Canadian players. Yeah, don't trust the Canadian players. And they're not good enough. Yeah, buy by the American talent. CFL. Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's cool, man. No, it's sad, man. That's if I'll CFL commissioner. I'll tell regardless. I know you guys think I'm crazy. They're like, what, Ivan? Okay, I know you guys think I'm crazy. You got to get rid of your American bias. You got to get rid of the American talent, guys. That's the problem. Well, Ivan, are you crazy? I'm like, no, guys, I'm not kidding around. If you don't do this, I'm stepping down, and I can't find any other way to grow your league. Well, even the American talent is the way to go. Okay, let me ask you a question. How long have you been doing this, guys? I don't know, like 70 years. Yeah, you've been doing this for like, what, 60, 70 years? And you're only peaking at $300 million. So I have two answers for you guys. Either the fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football, or they don't really care about these American guys you're bringing up here as your star players. Those are your two answers, obviously. Yeah. Ivan, you're crazy, man. The American talent's the way to go, man. They're fucking talented. Okay, what's your strategy of growing this league to like 500, $600 in 20 years with the American talent who you've been bringing up here for like, I don't know, the past 60 plus years? We don't have an answer. I mean, yeah, you don't have an answer. You know what I'm saying? It's true, man. You've been doing this for decades, guys, and your league is only peaking at $300 million a season after 60 years. Like that's a joke, guys, for a pro league. You should be doing your league should be doing 500, 600 million revenue, guys, after this many years of history, man. And you're only peaking at 300 million. Yeah. And quite a bit of your teams are losing money, guys. They're not profitable. Yeah. Why the CFL team is not profitable? Because they're not selling out every game. Obviously, the only teams that like sell out every game are like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, obviously, are the only like two teams whereby they sell out every game. Whereas the other leagues the other teams in CFL, they don't sell out every game. They'll sell out maybe 10 games. And 8 of the games are 3/4 full. And if you want to have your teams be profitable, you have to sell out every game. That's the key. You got to sell out every game. Like the NFL, right? And the NHL, they sell out every game. In Canada, anyways, for the NHL. That's how the teams make money, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Ivan, man, if you have the Canadian talent be the product on the field, the quality will dip a little bit, Ivan. Yeah, it will dip a little bit, but it's still amazing quality football. Yeah, it's amazing quality football, Ivan. It's not like the NFL, Ivan. Obviously. Yeah, but guys, it's not about the quality of your game, man. Not about the quality of your game. Because you're putting on high quality football every season with these Americans are putting. I'm not lying, guys. Like, watch CFL highlights on YouTube. It's amazing quality football. It's almost as good as the NFL, and yet no one in Canada cares about the game. So it's like, it's entertaining football, and yet the fans in Canada don't care about the games. The people in Canada don't really care about the games. So it's like, it's not about the quality of the game. It's obviously something else. Either the fans in Canada just don't care about Canadian football, or they don't really care about your product, your American product that you're selling to them, obviously. They don't really care about those guys that much. That's the other answer, obviously. Especially the quarterbacks, obviously. Because the main people the CFL markets in the on TSN is the quarterbacks. They talk mainly about the quarterbacks. But it's mainly all they talk about is all these American quarterbacks. Yeah, they talk about Nathan Rourke too, but the other 9 quarterbacks are all these American guys, obviously. And they talk about them, and I'm thinking, Bo Levi Mitchell, can Zach Caleros take his team to the Grey Cup and all that stuff? You know what I'm saying? They talk on CFL on TSN. It's cool and everything. Are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. It's cool. I care a little bit because there are star, amazing players in the league, but I don't really care that much because they're not from here. They're not Canadian. They're American. I can't resonate with those guys. I don't really care, right? Yeah, no, you guys can say, yeah. I care a little bit, but I don't really care that much. I care more about the Canadian players. That's my point, right? Yeah. Let me ask you, American football fans, if the NFL panel talked about like talked about all these Canadian starting quarterbacks in the NFL, would you guys really care? No, I wouldn't really care. We don't really care about the Canadians, Ivan. They're unknowns. We don't know anything about these guys. We can't relate to them. We want to see the draft picks. Yeah, you want to see the American guys shine in the NFL. You have a similar situation here in CFL, right? There you go. Sarah? Yeah. So there's a much bigger market. Yeah, there's a much bigger market with the Canadian talent because they're more known talent. When the Canadian players get drafted in the CFL, they post the information on the main page at each at each of the 27 university websites, and each university has what, like 40, 50,000 students. So that's marketing. Obviously, there's a huge market to tap in with the Canadian talent compared to the American talent in the CFL. And that's just universities. You also have the rest of the people in Canada who you market them on TSN with the commercials. It's a bigger market to tap into, obviously. And the league revenue could double in like 15, 20 years to like $500 million with the Canadian talent. Or I could be wrong. It doesn't make a difference, obviously. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe there is no difference even with the Canadian talent. The CFL market's the best Canadian players in Canada. No one in Canada really cares. They still don't care, obviously. But I highly doubt it. The what? All the university football games sell out in university football. Like 7,000, 10,000 students go to the games to support their university football players. So if you tap into that market, the university market, million plus students, you can get half those students watching the games, 400,000 students watching the games. Now that these Canadian franchise quarterbacks are stars or interested in the games, you just boosted your ratings from 500K to 900,000 viewers. And if you can get 500,000, 600,000 more people in Canada watching, that's already 1.5 million people watching your games. In 20 years now, you're peaking at 2.5 million people watching. That's how you grow the league, and it gets bigger. Or I could be wrong, and the fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football. Because the other answer could be true. The fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football, regardless of the product you sell. They just don't care. Or they don't really care about the American star players they care more about the Canadian players. But the key is marketing. You have to really market them all, right? That's the key, obviously. I could be wrong, right? Yeah. 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 So it's almost like the answer's right in front of their eyes. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? For 60 years, the CFL has been doing this. They've been bringing up all these American guys from the States and having the majority of them be the stars. And there's very few Canadian star players in the league. And no one in Canada really cares. And they draft the best players. You know what I'm saying? But Bray and them are stars. They're all bust picks. All these American guys they bring up here who are not even draft picks in their league are the star players. And they're seeing minimal growth, obviously. And then the one Canadian legendary quarterback who happens to be a star in the CFL, the fans love him even more than Warren Moon and Anthony Avilu and Ricky Ray. They have a trophy named after him at the Football University Awards, like the Heisman Trophy in the fucking States, man. No, you have the Heisman Trophy in NCAA. They have the trophy called the Heisman Trophy. Yeah, you have something like that for Russ Jackson. They have the Russ Jackson Award, man. The fucking University Awards named after him. So the football fans in Canada CFL love Russ Jackson a lot more than I think of little Ricky Ray and all these guys. Even Warren Moon, man. Why? Because he's Canadian. They love him a lot more. Yeah, so it's almost like the answer's right in front of your eyes. You're too blind to see it, right? Yeah. So you're telling me if you have a franchise Canadian quarterback who's a legendary player in the CFL, you're telling me the fans are not going to love that Canadian quarterback more than these American guys you bring up here in the CFL? Russ Jackson is a proof. They have a trophy named after him at the University Awards. Like the Heisman Award in the NCAA, right? They have a trophy named after him. Fucking trophy. There you go. Why would you respect the Canadian quarterback legends more than the American guys he would bring up here? Of course I would. They're fucking Canadian. They're homegrown talent. I'll love those guys a lot more than these American guys CFL brings up here. Because they're Canadian and I can relate to them. And they're homegrown talent. Yeah. Because the one thing about the American players, even though they killed it up here in the CFL and they become CFL legends, I know this was not their dream. So it's like, it's tough to resonate with these guys, right? Like, you guys see what I'm saying? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and that's probably one reason why the fans don't really care about these guys, right? Not much. Because they know this was not their dream. Even though the American guys who played in the CFL, they killed it up here, and they become CFL legends, and the fans love them, they respect them for what they did up here and everything. They're legends and everything. I know this was not their dream. Like, they're only here by default, guys. Had they went to the NFL, they never would have been legends in your league CFL. They never even would have been legends in your fucking league CFL, man. If they had an NFL opportunity, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the majority of those guys are your legends in your league, and you wonder why your league's not growing. Because the fans can't really resonate with these guys, right? Oh, hey, guys, I'm saying, yeah. All you Canadian football fans, yeah, you got a good point there, man. Like, we can't really resonate with them because even though, like, they killed it up here and they're CFL legends and everything, like, we don't really care about that much because they're American and we know they never really want to be here. They're only here by default, guys, because they didn't get their NFL shot. Otherwise, they never would have been here, man. So it's like, it's a bit weird. Had they been in the NFL, we never would have seen these guys here. So it's like, they're only legends in your league because they didn't get their NFL opportunity. So it's like, they're here by default. Yeah, they're legends and you respect them, you love them and everything. But like, this was not their dream. So it's very tough to resonate with a player, even if that player becomes a legend in the CFL, when you know that the CFL was not really their dream. Obviously, they're legends in the league that they never really want to play in. They only play in that league by default, so it's weird. It's tough to resonate with those guys, right? That's all I feel for. That's all I feel personally, anyways. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's funny, I know. Alright, so the American players are only here by default. Yes. All the American players the CFL brings up here are here by default. They're only here because they didn't get their opportunity. But CFL doesn't care. We don't care. We don't care. They never want to be here. This is not the dream. We gotta bring the guy that would have these stars on. Yeah, we don't care. We don't care if this is not the dream. They never want to be here. We gotta bring these guys up for Ivan. Have these stars. That's how we grow the league. Yeah, they're just, the CFL's crazy, man. They're just, no matter what, they don't care. Yeah, we don't care, Ivan. We're blind by the American talent. We gotta bring these guys up here to have these stars for Ivan. Even if they're using our CFL as a foreign league, we gotta market these guys to Canadian people, and even though the Canadian people are unfamiliar with the product you're trying to sell, they put on a show on television, they become CFL stars and fans, so that's how we grow league, Ivan. Yeah, I get that, CFL, but you've been doing this for decades, and people in Canada only care, so it's like, obviously something is not right, right? Yeah, there you go. Don't hate me, Sam. Anyways, guys, but I hope the CFL grows. Don't hate me, guys. This is where I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hope you guys enjoy my CFL shows. I'm Aaron saying out peace. Hope you guys enjoy my amazing CFL show. Don't hate me, CFL, you know what I'm saying? So I'm Aaron saying out peace. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to enjoy the show with you guys for my last period. Peace out, guys.